Do y'all know that these transmitters are ancient? They are ancient tech that has been recycled and brought into the new sets. Every reset, it's like a stage, at the end of a play, they clean up the stage, and they fix it up, and then it's vacant until the new players come out. But none of this technology is new. It's always been used since they started this planetary, this Terra Dome. Terra as in the earth, Terra Dome. There are many Terra Domes where they have human slaves, like we are here in these hell worlds. Some of the beings are a little different based on the composition of the Terra Dome and what the biological composition of the Terra Dome. It always affects the matter that lives there, right? So some of these different groups or different types of beings or human beings or human-like beings, we have, I don't know, 3 lungs or whatever. The eyes might look funny, but they're still people. And some of the people that they're using to populate these other Terra Domes, they are taking from here, they're taking from other worlds, and they're putting here. So they're moving people around, they're constantly trading commodities, which is humans and animals and things, and moving them around amongst the different Terra Domes. And the Terra Domes are managed by planetary management corporations. Some of these corporations here are planetary management corporations. So they run everything, they're behind everything. When technology is released, the schedule in which things are released, and things that, the schedule in which things are done here, that's all managed and organized. Some people say Bechtel. Bechtel is a planetary management corporation, and I'm sure there are others. But in the beginning, when they created these domes, they were managed by AI. They were managed by AI. And because energy manipulates matter, they had certain tones in which they transmitted, certain vibrations and frequencies they transmitted here. That's how they control these planes. So that's how, so some people may feel like they're inspired by certain things. They have voices in their minds, or they're inspired by religion. So religion might be heavy for 2 decades or something else. So that's all by design. That people are being, like, the matter is being fed. These beings, particularly us in these vehicles, are being fed information, quote unquote, inspiration via these transmitters. So these transmitters are ancient, and all of this tech is not new. It's been here. So before they created these Terra Domes, this is what they call it's what I'm calling Aquaterra, but it's part of a larger land mass, right? And in the that were here previously, there was indigenous life forms. That's what people are calling cryptids. There was already life here before the Cro-Magnon and the originals were put here, okay? There were already life forms here that had been systematically removed and destroyed and maybe even repackaged and repositioned. Most of them were killed off, but a lot of them went within the earth because you can survive, and the electromagnetic frequency is higher inside the earth. It's the geomagnetics. It all has to do with the electromagnetic frequency and rocks within the earth, right? Because that's known. People are known to have prolonged existences. They, heightened psychic aptitude with it when you're living within the earth or subterraneously. So there were already indigenous life here before these Terra Domes were created. When I say Terra Domes, I don't mean terror as in horror. I mean Terra as in the earth, right? So there was this huge landmass, and then something happened. I believe it was a war, right? There was a war. And then these corporations that were already organized, right? And they came in and they started doming off certain areas, and placing organic life there and siphoning the energy from them, manipulating them. So these are like farms. They're like these are human farms. That's all they are. Or biological farms, where they create conditions that caused the organic life to feed and bleed emotions and energy into something that is feeding off of this. And whatever is it's obviously valuable because this is not new. Um, Now I remember what it was. I have past life, very vivid past life memories, and I know that when they first created these pterodomes, there wasn't immediately a sun. The only light was bioluminescence, and the sky was like this raspberry, like not lavender. It was like this raspberry, had this raspberry tone, and there were all different kinds of life forms here. Okay, so then they came in and they started, just like they're trying to do now. They go places, they start killing off indigenous life, cornering things off, and things like that. And so that's how they do it. Whenever they go somewhere and do something, whenever they go somewhere, there's always bloodsheds, a huge loss of life that follows. And again, these are like, these are not, and then this mentality, it comes from evil. I mean, here you have corporations that are from the time before these pterodomes were created. They come in and they create these domes, and like just like we do animals, they're doing us. These beings are doing us. So that's what this is about. That's what this is all about. And like I said, AI in the beginning was controlling because that's the easiest way to control these domes. The suns and the moons are fake, and don't let me get into the technology of the sky. This is why I don't buy into um, astrology in terms of like the planets, because the planets, what they're calling the planets, are plane T's. They're planes of Terra. Plane, PLANET of Terra. Okay, and they are not in the sky. They're like our neighbors, and we get there through the waterways. Some places you can actually walk to them. So they are not places of the sky. They're neighboring pterodomes. Okay? So, if the if the technology of the dome, which is a light show, right? If that was really legit, then these celestial bodies would be moving at a natural and organic pace. They would not be cyclical and regular and controlled and like typical. What we see in the sky is typical. That's a light show. That's advanced technology. All right, so just understand, like, most of what we're seeing it's technological. It's all a stage. When they go through these resets, the infrastructure for the most part is always left intact, and then they just dump people there. Some people call them the Cabbage Patch Kids. There's that, and then there's those that were constructed in these ancient underground laboratories that exist in Asia and Africa. Africa was not hospitable to life, which is why life did not start there. That's a whole crock of you know what. And that's a narrative that is just like so obviously wrong. From the life forms that live there to the climate there, it is so inhospitable to beings, to anthropomorphized beings like ourselves. It's hospitable to the beings that lived, inhospitable to the beings that live there. So life did not start there.